Yeah, all the best.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Utkarshika.
A pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Niharika, and I extend my warm welcome to all of you to the event of Technovision on the occasion of National Technology Day. India observes National Technology Day on May 11th every year to commemorate the achievements of scientists, researchers, and engineers who played a vital role in the development of nation. The significant theme of this day is to mark the anniversary of Pokhran nuclear test of 1998. And Utkarshika, you can continue.
To celebrate this day, we've invited Mr. Vibhanshu Jain, who will be our guest speaker for the evening. Mr. Vibhanshu Jain is a management consulting and data strategy professional in the banking and fintech domain. He's worked with three big consulting firms, investment banks, and fintech startups. He's extremely passionate about solving real world problems through his data acumen using AI and ML. Now, I would like to request Mitali ma'am to please address everyone with a few words. Um, okay.
Due to some technical errors, she didn't join till now.
I'm sorry.
Due to some technical errors, she didn't join till now.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I guess we can continue.
Okay, we now request our honorable speaker to please take over and give us a much enlightening talk on the session.
Sure, I guess that's my cue. So thank you everyone for hosting me today. And special thanks to the General Secretary, Vibhanshu. I mean, 27 years of my life, I did not find anyone with the same name. And here is the person, I found with the same name and the last name also same. So it was a weird and a wonderful coincidence at the same time. So thank you everyone for hosting me. Right. So I want this session to be, very, very interactive, like I just want everyone, each student here to learn and see like what the outside industry looks like, as you'll be stepping out in the real world into your corporates, someone you would be looking for government jobs, someone would be taking over the business from, their family, someone would be starting their own businesses. So we'll have different kind of people around, and happy to talk about my experience, so what my journey so far has been in life with my corporate career, and happy to take questions and answer them based on anything that you might have regarding to your career, like what's all going on in the market today, what's the economy looking like for the tech folks, especially from an engineering background. So happy to answer all the questions. I started my career somewhere around in 2014. You know, so I joined, like, my first job was with Standard Chartered Bank. If I have to give you my academic background, I did my engineering in electronics and communication. And someone might wonder, why Standard Chartered Bank? Because banking is a totally different domain from what I, studied during my college days. Electronics and communication being totally different from a banking job. So that's something that, if I have to tell you that, what happens in the outside industry, whatever you are studying here in college during your career would be kind of irrelevant. It's up to you that which domain interests you the most. For me, it was always banking, and that's something that I found out during my college days, probably in the third year of my college, when I was reading some articles around what the banking industry today is looking like. I was interested in crypto and everything, so I thought that, hey, why not banking? And of course, like most of you would be here, I did not have a certain clue about where I want to land up in my career, but I just knew that I am an engineering student and I want to go into banking domain. So the first opportunity that I got was with Standard Chartered Bank, who visited on campus. And from the job that they were offering, it was of a data analyst. And being an electronics and communication student, I was not very good at data analytics per se, because all my work was towards electronics during my college studies. So I found out that let me just give it a try, let me just give it a shot, and of course, my mentors and college faculty, everyone was very supportive of me. And I just sat in the interview, looking at the various SQL codes and everything, like what could be done based on whatever limited knowledge that I had. So just because of this opportunity that I took and some luck by my side, I got through the interviews. When I went into Standard Chartered Bank, I was placed into this wholesale banking division. And with this wholesale banking division, I found out that it looks like something that I want to do, but still too early days. But I wasn't really sure what I'm doing there. You know, early into our careers, every one of us is not really sure what we actually want to do, and our priorities also keep on changing as we move along. So that's what I was thinking. So I just went in, and one of the things that I always remembered was that no matter the problem that I'm facing or the tech stack or whatever the job requires me to do, I'll learn on the job if my studies do not belong to that particular area or that particular domain. So as a fresher in this corporate world, I started learning Java. I started learning visualization tools like OBI, which were being used in my job. And that's when I started my career. And along the way, I found out that this is okay, but there is something interesting now in the market. Probably one of the reasons I found that probably credit card industry, started to attract me a lot. Like how credit cards actually operate in the environment today, in Indian economy, in the global economy. And that's when I thought that I'll move on to another company. And it was Amex, which gave me the opportunity to move into their credit card division. So all the offers that you see on the credit cards, right? Like for example, you might be seeing if many people, here in this group are using credit cards, like shop on Mintra, get 10% off. There was a particular science behind it. Why am I eligible for this 10% discount, whereas my friend could be eligible for a 20% discount or something? So all these sciences, all this decisioning was something that made me very curious, and that's when I went into Amex. Now, after Amex, I got an opportunity with one of the largest investment banks, that is Goldman Sachs, based out of Bangalore. Now, I was like, because I was always interested in banking, and when I heard that I got this opportunity from Goldman, I was like, I don't know what kind of work would there be. I know that I'll still have to clear all my interviews. There was probably 10% chances that I'll clear the interview. So I just read through the job description. I found out that, hey, they might be asking me SQL, they might be asking something about predictive models. Let me just learn that information. I started doing online courses just before the interview. And within 2 weeks, whatever information I gained, I thought that I'm all set for the interview. Now, whatever I did my hard work, now whatever happens is luck, as is the case with most of the things in life, right? Like whatever you do, 95% is your hard work and 5% is luck. And that's what makes it 100%. So with luck by my side, I got through Goldman, and then the opportunity, the industry that I faced or saw there was completely different. You know, there were investment bankers, mergers and acquisitions. Of course, some of you might have heard terms like, investment banking and everything. All of that sounds very rosy, that, hey, I want to be an investment banker, whereas you might not even have a single 1% clue, what does an investment banker do? And I was of the same league, same category. I did not have any iota of anything, like what does an investment banker do? I cleared this interview, let me see. So a lot of my learning happened on the job. Of course, it was not easy at all, because there were people in my class, who were very clear about their career paths, that they want to be a consultant, they want to be, they want to get into manufacturing of electronics. Someone wanted to be in a semiconductor industry, going to their ECE background. Someone wanted to be in a radar technology, applying for government jobs. I was taking things more in their stride as and when they came. So I learned on the job. First 6 months were very difficult, but by minimum acceptable performance, I got through. And then as I started learning, I was doing better and better in the job. Then again, I thought that, okay, now I have a flair of investment bank, and still I'm not clear in my career what I want to do, which is totally okay. You don't need to have all the answers what you want to do in your career, and there is this unsaid pressure in the minds of people that, hey, if I don't find a career for myself, if I don't decide now, there's so much competition outside, I don't know what will do, what will my parents think, what will my friends think, what will society think if I don't get this job of 3 LPA, 5 LPA, 7 LPA. I was just taking things as they came, I wasn't sure what I need to do. I was always that, hey, I want to do investment banking, but 2 years, 2.5 years, I thought that it's okay, I did well, but not really something I want to do in the long term. So that's when I moved to consulting. because management consulting was another big word in the industry, and it always has been. But what do consultants do? Because what attracted me towards consulting was that, hey, I will get to travel a lot and I'll make good money, and the learning is immense. These three factors, I didn't even think, what the job entails, how much of work it would be, what I need to do. Only these three things attracted me. And I think that really matters, right? Why do you want to kind of work? No one has a dream that, hey, my dream job is where I get to sit in front of a computer screen 9 to 5, where I'm coding some stuff or maybe looking at some algorithms. No one dreams of that. For me, it was always in that, hey, I'm single, I'm not married. I want to travel, I want to earn money, I want to be in the big league. That's it. I saw this opportunity came in. I was in London at that time on one of my projects, and then this opportunity for Boston Consulting Group. If you Google, this is one of the biggest consulting groups in the world to exist. I got this opportunity. I thought that let's not shy away from giving an interview. Of course, they always took people who are MBAs, and I was just someone who did only his Bachelor's of Technology in EC from a tier 2 college. I'm not even from IITs or NITs. I did it from NSIT, not in that league, but I was that, hey, these people don't even hire, people who are not MBAs. Then why are they even, selecting my resume? If they did, there must be something that I did in my resume, something that I've done in the past 5 years of my career, 6 odd years of my career. I still went through the interview. I read through the job description like I always do. And I said that, okay, they asked some data science stuff. Let me see what data science is. I read through, probably spent a couple of weekends, 1 week. Okay, this is what data scientists do. And as you might have heard, right, like data science is the buzzword of the industry today. Everyone is a data scientist today. People are not even like not born fully, and then by Jews and Akash Junior, these people are offering, hey, you can become a coder. I mean, who decides who wants to become a coder, at the age of 7, at the age of 8? No one. I mean, if you ask people, if children around, who are like 7 years or 8 years of age, they won't say that, hey, I want to become a coder, I want to become an app developer one day. It's all because what probably society about their parents have told, because being a data scientist, which is good money, being a data scientist is that, hey, your career is good if you're a data scientist. I think I also had that pressure that, hey, data science is the field. Let's go into this. Somehow, again, with luck by my side and a little bit of hard work that I did over a couple of weeks, I was able to get into this industry. I went through for the travel plans that I'll get to travel a lot, but always, things are different. Destiny had something else, and then COVID-19 came. All the travel shut down. And I was like, I joined this job because of the travel, and they are saying that you can't travel. Then why am I here even for, But because I was not clear what I want to do there, the learning that I got in Boston Consulting Group in that big 3 consulting was so immense that it kind of opened my ideas to the world that, hey, if I were to do this, I can probably go into this field. I never thought that I'll be learning about predictive modeling, building linear regression, logistic regression models, hands-on, because I did not have that background. I never imagined myself it to be. But with each and every job, I always focus that first 6 months, I'll work so hard if I don't know what to do, that it will come naturally to me. And that's what I did. This job was very tough. I spent like 14 hours a day working, which was so different from my jobs that I did at Standard Chartered Bank. There I used to work probably 7 hours a day. Here it was totally double. And it was like so much pressure in the job that I thought that how will I even survive? But there is always a learning in every job or every opportunity that we do. Some of you, on this call might be wondering that, hey, I think I don't want to do any such job. I want to build my own startup. And the same idea came in for me as well that, hey, I think let's not quit my job. Let me start something on the sidelines. It's okay. I don't have any other priorities as such in my life right now. I want to learn. That was just the phase of my life. Everyone is in a different phase at different points of time. So I was of the fact that let me start something on the sides. That's when I started a food delivery startup by the name of TikiWiki with a couple of my friends in Gurgaon region. And I was like, let me see how does this pan out, because at that time this startup culture was kind of booming a lot. The likes of Paytm, Zomato, Nykaa, all of these brands were coming in, and I didn't want to be left out of the race, which is the condition for most of the people that, hey, if someone else is doing something and that looks lucrative, even I want to do that. So why not do that? Even without thinking that whether it's made for me or not, but it's totally okay to try. It's totally okay to try different things. As if you don't have an answer, if someone is clear that yes, this is what they want to do in their life, very well said, become an expert of that field. If someone is not clear, keep on trying different things until you find something that you like. With that startup thing, I went in, I set up these different mechanisms of how startups work, started, invested my money and everything. 6 months down the line, the startup failed. We were in huge losses overall. It didn't work out. At that time, I realized that startup is something not for me. It could be for me probably if I were to quit my job and focus completely on my startup, but was not willing to take that risk. Some people are not. Totally fine. Who's willing to take what kind of risk? I was a risk averse person at that time. I didn't want to take that risk, right? But if you think about it, risk is there in whatever step you do. You start a startup, that might fail. You get a good job, you might be fired very soon. It could happen in any way. So that's what this startup thing and the pressure that I had in this consulting made me realize that pressure will always be there. There will always be risk. How much of a risk are you willing to take? It should be a calculated risk. It shouldn't be that, hey, just because I want to do, let me do this. Because then you'll be messing up on the other life fronts as well. And as this in startups, you might have heard that for running a startup, you should always have at least your 3 years of savings of your daily cost. Like, for example, in a day, you spend like 500 rupees on your clothing, on your foods, or anything that you want to do. You should have at least 3 years of savings in those money values. So I thought that, okay, I have experienced this. Maybe startup is not for me. And then I went to a startup. Now, again, with startups, everyone says that, hey, startup, so risky, it's a job, but so risky, you can fail anytime. They hire and fire a lot. You'll be out of your jobs and everything. Or, the startup might shut down itself. All the employees will be laid off. It's better to look for an MNC. Never go to a startup. But I was like always willing to try new things. I had an experience of investment bank, the biggest one as a fact, right? I had an investment experience of a big three consulting. Now, when I moved to this startup, let me see how things work on ground, because I always believed in building and taking end-to-end ownership of whatever I do. It just interests me. So I took that. It's been like 1 year now that I'm with this startup, and things are going pretty well. Like, I got a good title, like if I talk about my current title, I'm a business transformation and strategy director. If I talk to Vibhanshu Jain 8 years down the line, who was just looking for a job in the campus at Standard Chartered Bank, never I imagined that I'll be a business transformation and strategy director, because I didn't even know the meaning of this word. I have this title, I didn't know like what this means. But I kept on learning with each and every job what it exactly entails, So even, you are all students, you might be finding very difficult to, what's the best path for me? There's this unset pressure that, hey, this is what I want to do. I think I should do Python because Python is in demand. Oh, no, there's a new language, crypto. I think I should invest my time in crypto. I should learn crypto. It's totally fine to try new things, Now, earlier the problem was that the data or the learning material wasn't available that actively. But if I compare the times from 2014 to 2022 now, the times are so different. Now the problem is different. The problem is there is so much material available out there to learn that you don't know which one to select. The problem is actually changed, if you see, right? You imagine for yourself, when you were probably in your 9th class, 10th class, you were always finding to look, where do I find this course? Shall I join an offline institution? Shall I join an online course? What do I do? But here, you just Google anything you want to search on YouTube. You'll have millions of free courses. You'll have millions of paid courses. Everything is available just at the click of a button. So the choice is now, which one do I actually select? So my advice to you, as you go about in the industry, which technology stack to choose, of course, do your research. See what interests you, what is going on in the market, because it's always good to catch the trends and the patterns in the market. At this point, from a technology perspective, for example, if I were to give you this advice, hey, no, Python is fine. You should learn C++. That's a very foolish advice, because C++ is used at very, very minimal areas these days. But while learning C++ in your college is important, because the same concepts will apply to different languages. The technology, the languages will change, right? But the core concepts will still remain the same. So some students might think that, hey, I don't want to learn C++, it's so boring, out of style. I'll concentrate on Python or maybe some another language. You won't be able to grasp that language fully. You won't be able to become a master in your field or I don't even speak about mastery, you won't be able to do even 80% best in your field if you don't have that basic concept knowledge. So that's why whatever we study during colleges and everything, the core concepts are very, very important. But that's just one layer. College did its part, your studies did their part, you learned everything, good. You understood something, you understood probably nothing, doesn't matter. You know, whatever you learned in college, you have that with you. Now you have to kind of do a lot of research. What do I want to do? So what is very important is trying to find time with yourself that this is what I want to do in my career. Again, you do not have to have answers for the long term. The 10 years down the line, I want to do this. What do you want to do now? Is there scope in that particular thing? Even if there's no scope, is this something that you like to do? If you do like to do that, like banking was something for me. Even I thought that I didn't know that what was the scope of banking industry at that time. I just like banking. That's the only thing I knew. I knew that I'll be able to cope up on the job, even if I don't know a lot about it, but I do know the basics, and that's what happened. So what I started with, my banking career still remains the same. With all these jobs that I changed in my corporate career, be it investment banking, consulting, startups, or anything, I always stick to my domain, which was banking, because that's what interested me. What that enabled me was to become a very, very, thorough professional in the banking domain. Technology wise, I, learned various tools. I learned Python, Java, OBI, and everything. Some of them we don't even use today. But what worked for me was that I stick to a particular domain. For you also, it's okay to find a domain. It's okay to probably become a master in one of the languages or any of the tech stacks that you want to do. Stick to it throughout your career, not even if 100%, but maybe by some parts, so that you can build your knowledge on top of that. That's very important, because what will separate you from the rest of the crowd? Everyone might be, kind of being like haphazard that, hey, let me do this also, let me do that also. That strategy won't work. What will work is keep on trying new things, but have something that is your core skill that no one can take away from you ever. That even if times are bad, probably people are not hiring, you are not able to do your own startup. Even as a freelance consultant, you can use those skills to, get a job or work for yourself, earn money. That's it. So for me, it was banking. For someone else, it could be something completely different. But the only thing that would work is if you are of this mindset that yes, I want to try new things, you have to ensure that once you step into that thing, you have to work really, really hard for the first few months, because that's when only you'll grow. Otherwise, if you just think that, hey, by luck, I got into something and now I'll be able to perform in it, that's never going to happen. So with me also, whenever I stepped into anything that was unknown, that was exciting for me, because unknowns, wherever there's ambiguity, where I don't know what to do, that does excite me. But what matters also is that I stick by that, yes, I will work hard and will kind of continue with it. That's what always stuck by me. So my advice to you all would be same, like don't be too much focused on domain technology, and it's okay to not have answers to all your questions, that you're thinking about your career, how much my college is supporting me, how much will I earn. Everyone today is about, hey, I'll earn 3 lakh, 5 lakh, oh, this is another job which offers 5.5 lakh, 50,000 more per year. I should go for this. If, is that a job that you want to do? Because if there is something that you actually like to do in your career, you'll be easily be able to earn exponential returns in that, because you stick by it. And that's why I never left my focus on banking domain. Today, when people reach out to me, just because of this my one decision, they say that, hey, we have a banking project, or companies who reach out to me with job offers, or maybe startup co-founders reach out that, hey, can you be a part of my startup? They're all banking related, because they said that because I've had so much of experience in banking, they don't talk to me about tools. When they read my resume, they won't see that, hey, I'm a Python expert, or I'm, a Java expert, because I've worked with different tools. For my resume, what stands out is the banking and fintech domain, which I have touched upon from all the points, probably like wholesale banking, consumer, credit cards, debit cards, investment banking, merchant acquisition, commercial portfolios. I have done with my jobs all of this. For someone else, what might stand out is that, hey, this person is so good in Python. He started with basic Python and went into data science, into predictive modeling, and now he's building his own libraries in Python. even that is totally fine. It's just that you need to decide that what is something that interests you and stick by it, throughout your life. This will help you no matter the time. And do remember to work really, really hard if you are going into the unknown. Because if it's a known, of course, you'll over time you'll become an expert in it. You'll become the industry expert, SME, whatever you might call it. You'll do well. But if you're someone like me who likes to try a lot of different things, you'll have to make these 2 or 3 tweaks in your life, and it's all going to be really, really good. And at the end of the day, the college you are from, or probably someone might be wondering that, hey, I'm from probably triple IT, NIT, not from IITs, or not an MBA from IIM. It's totally fine, because all these things do help, right? Your college does help a lot in the future, what they're providing you. That's very important. But at the end of the day, what matters is how are you able to apply that knowledge that your college or your school has provided. You know, this is one of the very good institutions you're studying in right now. So I would say just take as much as you can from the faculty. They are like, teaching experts. They have a lot of knowledge on the theoretical concepts. Get that. That will form your core. That will form your base. And on top of that, it's you. Whatever you do with, you have smartphones, you have laptops. Sometimes I don't say like you don't shouldn't enjoy your life or in terms of finding TikTok videos or anything else, but just think like probably spend like half an hour a day maybe. Let's see what's just curiosity, what's going on in the industry. For example, if I'm liking healthcare, COVID happened and there was just so much in thing. Did anyone think that I could probably find an opportunity in this industry? What does healthcare industry? Why probably India is doing so well in the vaccination? Why not other countries? Or if some other countries are doing good, why is that not the case? So just spend some time like this, and you'll kind of find answers over time. I won't say that today if you start doing this, today only you'll find an answer. And initially it will be really boring. I'm telling you that, hey, what was the healthcare industry today looking like and everything? You won't enjoy it. But just something that you have studied that you think that, hey, I think I like this subject. What are the things that related to this subject that are going on in the economy, in the industry right now? And focus on that. That will help you a lot. So that's about me. And with this, I open to any questions, that you might have. And with that, like before any questions, don't think that any question is stupid. Ask anything that you would like. I won't kind of judge you, or no one, your teachers or your general secretary or anyone is not going to judge you what kind of question you're asking to the guest speaker. I'm totally okay, because it's okay to not have answers. Even I was of the same thing. I still don't have all the answers today. But because I'm always curious, I keep finding answers. If something is that, hey, I always feel, if I don't know something, I got to find an answer, even if it's probably few words. That's that obsessive compulsive disorder that you say, right? That I am always very, very curious to know things. So that's how it. Don't worry, no one is going to judge you for any stupid question. There are no stupid questions, even if it's very basic. Feel free to ask, happy to answer. Come on, no questions. When I was your age, I had so many questions that why this is working this way, why this is working that way, what do I do? I'm scared if I even get a good job. Yes, my namesake, please, Mr. Vibhanshu.
Yeah, so this time it's interesting, like the one Vibhanshu is asking you a question or doubt to the second Vibhanshu. So, very interesting question, which is, I mean, a very interesting point which you just mentioned is like, when you are planning for a startup, you should be ready to, you should have the savings of 3 years in your pockets already. So, what would you suggest for the students who are planning for startups? Because the students who are studying as of now, probably like there are many students from first year in this meeting as of now, first, second, and third years. So,
Mm-hmm.
what is your suggestion to them? If they are working on some idea in their third years or first year and second year, what should be the guideline or sort of, I mean, a sort of like just a rough timeline for them? Like, should they go for placements or should just stick to the startup? Or I mean, what do you say? What is your idea about that.
Got it. Interesting question. So, for students who are like going for their startups, right? First is like, of course, you decide why are you doing this startup or what problem are you trying to solve, and does the problem even need solving? You know, what many people do these days is that just because they want to do a startup, they'll find problem to a solution rather than a solution to a problem. Just because I want to do my startup, I think I have a problem that my maid doesn't visit at the correct time at my house. So let me start something that which provides maid services or something like that, right? That's not really the case because we do already have a lot of companies offering that service. And that's not even a problem because think in terms of customer. Never think in terms of your perspective, what you are trying to solve, but as a customer, and divide these customers into various groups and cohorts. The various groups and cohorts could be that young customers, middle-aged customers, and old-age customers, maybe, and then males, females. Just think of different cohorts and segments. And will it solve a problem for a particular cohort or all of them, right? And what else can they do? Think as a customer, if to this problem that I want some maid services at my home, instead of looking at an app which offers these services, I can just go to the security guard of my society and tell them that, hey, can you just send someone, or probably ask around in my society, if someone is visiting at their place. Then and there, the problem is solved. You know, that's what most people will prefer. No one is going to go to an app and say that, hey, I want this services. So first, do decide that whether this idea is actually sustainable and this is actually solving a problem from a customer's perspective. Now, if you're really sure that yes, this is probably going to be a really good idea doesn't need to be 100% perfect. It just needs to be solving a problem that is actually a problem. Once you have zeroed in on that, and if you're confused that what if my startup fails and everything, that's when what I mentioned, in the previous 30 minutes was your risk profile comes in. Are you willing to take that risk at this stage of your life or at this stage of your early career? If I were in that same place, I would take that step once I'm convinced on all that. Once I've done that, because I was okay that even if my startup doesn't work, I can still get a job. But what if my idea works? What if this is actually something that's going to solve a lot of problems? And don't be in it for the money. For startups, if I tell you, startups are very low startups, very probably handful of them, maybe 15 to 20% of them are profitable as of today globally. A lot of them are losing money. you know you think about Zomato, Paytm, and everything, all of them are loss making entities. But why they're running, it's all on the venture capitalists, like people who are looking to invest in these. So think about the economy, like in the past 3 years, people wanted a lot to invest. The cash flows were not that much because people were not investing cash. They wanted everything to be digitized. So people had a lot of money, and since the economy was like kind of shut, the big players in the industry wanted something out of their capital. They had huge chunks of cash. Where do they invest? They started investing in these startups a lot. You know, what happened was that they had unfair valuations at that time. If you think about Zomato, Zomato IPO, if you would be aware, it listed at somewhere around 132. Today, the price of Zomato stock is even lesser than 1 kg of tomato. you know Even 1 kg tomato is 56, Zomato stock is 53. The co-founders, actually I have met Deepinder Goyal, who's one of the co-founders, the starters of this Zomato. He also had a very good vision and everything, but over time their vision changed, and it was more around how they can get. They were not actually solving a problem as such. Now they have come up with a 10-minute delivery model, for example, right, which is posing a lot of problems rather than constructive things. So for someone who's just starting this, if you are convinced that yes, this is going to work, I'd say take the plunge, you know, and set timelines for yourself. Like 6 months down the line, I see this idea being executed to this stage. 1 year down the line, I see that this has already happened. If not, then keep a plan B, that yes, how can I get a job? Your startup experience, if you think that if I'm not into a job right away from my college, that won't give me a job, that doesn't happen. Actually, good companies value this experience, because what you will learn from your own startup is much, much, much more valuable, hands-on, than what you learn in a single department of a big company. When I talk about I was part of this wholesale banking at Standard Chartered, I was a part of a very small group. I didn't know what's going on in other domains of the banking. But if you were to say start your own, banking startup, you would know how credit cards work, you would know how debit cards work, you would know how crypto works, you know how to sell your product. You will get a lot of soft skills also, which is not taught naturally. They come as you learn. So do go for this. But if you think that, hey, I have spent enough time, 1 year, 1.5 year maybe with this idea and nothing is happening, I'm losing money, then go for a job. Then take a hard call that yes, I could. So, and for someone who's already in job, I always suggest don't quit your job and start a startup right away. That's very, very risky. That happens only for like 0.001% of the population that they succeed. Start something on the sides. Spend your weekends probably. If it's a 9 to 5 job, 9 to 7 job, whatever, spend some time after that. Start doing, because you can operate your startup today with as you're traveling, on your phone. You can do that. You start then. And if you think that yes, this startup is having potential and you did your market research, that's when quit your job. But don't quit your job until you have enough savings. Or someone here could be, having a lot of cash, from their parents, like they might be from a very good family and they have a lot of cash to burn. For them also, I wouldn't say, the same advice applies. I wouldn't say that, hey, no, you don't have any risk in life, you can just go ahead and burn all the cash. No, the startup experience is not about money, it's all about what you actually learn. Everyone has to build a career out of their lives. It could be in a startup, it could be through a job, it could be their own business. But how you do that, that's what matters. So someone who's looking, like, for example, let me look at the job, let me first look at the industry, how different companies work, how different industries work. Very well, go ahead, take that job and do your startups on the sides, if you're not really confident in your idea. But if you are confident, go ahead with it.
Um,
Thank you so much, sir. Does anyone else have any other doubts? I guess we have two doubts in the chat.
Sure, happy to answer. So first one is from Deep. When I was in school, I was very fond of games. I was good at math and liked coding, so I decided to become a game developer. When I came to college, I also made some small games when I was in school. But after coming to college, I saw people in fields of AI, data science, web dev, and all. Now I'm going for what you pursue now. Interesting. It's very interesting. That it's a thing that happens with not only you, Deep, but happens with probably, I'd say, 70 to 80% of the people around. Who are at this stage. So when you think about this, that something is very lucrative, something is going on outside in the industry, but I'm interested in this. First thing is to get the best of both worlds. See how can you connect these two things together. You say you're interested in becoming a game developer, you like coding, and now people are going towards AI and data science. Why don't you build a game that uses AI? Why don't you build a game that uses data science? There are a lot of games. You can actually connect these two things, because these are not very disparate things, that hey, game development, coding and everything, all these actually connect with each other if you want to connect them. That's what happens. So try to connect these. You already have knowledge about game development, you do know coding, start learning courses about AI, data science at first, and see how can you use that particular AI skill into your game development code, and are you able to merge it? If you are, that way you're doing what you like, and you're also pursuing something that's going on very well in the industry. And after this, if you want to create your own games, be a freelancer, you have the skill set, go ahead and do it. If not, you can easily find a job probably in a gaming company as an AI developer or something. We have EA Sports, and I'm not that much into gaming. Probably I only know EA Sports because that was the one I played a lot during my childhood. But there are a lot of gaming companies. Start applying to them that, hey, if you say them that I already have developed this app and code, and this is one of my projects, you stand out from all the other interviews. All of them would be giving theoretical answers that yes, probably this is how a linear regression works, this is how AI works. You already have a working setup of a game that you built, and that will make you stand out, and you'll ace everything. And even if it doesn't go well for you, you have your own game. You have nothing to lose that way. So that way you can pursue your both your things. Sure. So next one is from Pratham. You mentioned you were interested in fintech since year 3. How did you prepare, or rather, how would you prepare start today? You're in first year and find finance related topics interesting.
Maybe like Utkarshika can briefly read the question
Yeah.
once, so, as we are screening. So
Right. Okay.
Sure. So we can go with the next one, right? Like I'll answer Pratham's and then we can go with the next one. So, you know, you say that you are also interested in finance related topics. So ask if I ever to ask you this next question, what in finance? You know, I think you wouldn't have an answer now because finance again is such a broad topic. You know, finance could be anything. You know, you go to a bank, you open a fixed deposit, a savings account, and you trade in Bitcoin. It's all finance. You know, what actually makes you interested in finance? Is it like consumer banking space? Probably. You know, I like to see how customer data and everything, customers, any kind of bank. What interests you? What interested me when I say that I was interested in banking, it was more on the consumer banking and a little bit on the credit cards because Standard Chartered was offering a good credit card, and I was reading like which one of them offers very good probably offers because at that time I think Flipkart and Amazon were also kind of gaining their market in India, and there were these lot of offers they were saying. So I was saying that if they're giving me 10%, why not 20%? That's what got me interested, and I said that let me see, and I had like some of the knowledge, and that's how I went through it. But if you are interested in finance related topics, see what in finance, because finance can be like there could be something not boring per se, but boring for me, I'd say, like doing some accounting work and everything. That's all finance, not interesting to me. I'm more interested in the core technology. How AI is shaping these things today. If you open your Paytm spend analyzer, for example, if some of you use it, I can see where exactly I am spending, right? And it also now tries to predict where all my next month's spends will be. For example, if I'm shopping a lot for the past 3 months, it will give me offers related to shopping and will predict that I spent probably 50% of my money overall, spend on shopping. I should spend maybe 20% more to get this offer or something of this kind. That's what makes me interested. So try to connect the dots that way. And this is what got me interested. So if you're interested in like how finance-based companies work, make money basically, have you done basic research? What are investment banks making? How are investment banks making money? Today I say that if Byju's acquired Akash Institute. Let me take an example for that. Why did Byju's do that? you know these things, if you already know, you'll understand like how do they make money. For most of the finance things, like when I talk about the overall banking industry, they make money by lending money at the core, no matter the financial institution, in some shape or the form. Your credit cards, your commission fees. This is how they make money. Everything they, even to keep money in your bank. In India you get savings interest, but in other countries you actually have to pay money to keep your money in the savings bank account. That's how they make money. They make money through the volumes because a large number of customers are doing transactions with them. This Visa, MasterCard, American Express, RuPay cards, how do they make money? They make money because they charge only 0.01% or 1% of the transaction fees. So if you would say that, hey, I spent 1,000 and only 1% of the transaction fees goes, what does that even mean? How will they earn? But that 1% multiplied by millions of people, that's how they make money. That's the core of it. So by lending they make money. Why do they? Have you ever wondered, on savings account you get 4% interest these days, maybe even less these days, 3% or something. But on loans, whenever you have to get a loan, there is no loan in India that you'll get at lesser than 7% interest rate. Why? Because this 4% interest rate from millions, lakhs of people is what is their business model, how they make money. Their commission fees, agent fees. If I were to sign a deal that, hey, I probably, you have a company, you have a startup, you want to do your IPO. You don't know those specifics, right? You might be in healthcare industry, you might be in retail industry. You will liaise with a bank, help me get this IPO to the market. I have to list my shares. That's how they charge the fees to get this out into the market. So these are the ways. Learn about various models, how do they earn money, but at the core of it, it's lending.
Right. So the next question is again from Deep. Actually, game dev requires things in which we need experience more than skills, but in things like CT, we need skills more profoundly.
So I think it's a continuation to your previous question, but you say like game development requires things in which we need experience more than skills. who's stopping you to get experience? We have such an active learning community for game development these days. How often have you kind of collaborated with such self-learning groups? How much have you learned yourself? Like the best gamer in the world. I'm not into gaming, but I still know the best gamer in the world is in Sweden. And last year he earned somewhere around $500,000 by winning one gaming competition. You know, just because it was in the news and it was related to finance. That's why I know. No interest in gaming for me, of course. But this is what I know. So you can actually gain skills online only. You don't need to kind of look at where do I always need an industry experience or be liaised with a company to gain this experience. You can gain experience through yourself only by active online learning community yourself. That's how you gain experience. And if you talk about skills and everything, right, of course industry experience, I do say that's important, but that's important once you are in the job, probably, and you're looking for the next job. To get into your first job, whatever you do as a self learner is totally enough. That will get you through. That's something that I have learned. That's something that I've learned on the job, through the real world. That's how you'll get it. So you don't need to worry about I don't have the skills experience. Are you doing your, like, you should only be worried when you are not doing your own part fully. Like I said, there is always 95% hard work and 5% luck. You should be sure that I have done my 95% work. The rest 5% no one can control, right? You don't need to worry about it. If you get through, well and good. If you don't, try again. If you don't, try again. If you still don't get through, try something else. That's how it is with all the things, but you'll get through. Skills and experience do go hand in hand.
The next question is from Satvik. When did you realize that you're interested in fintech?
In fintech as such, I think it was when I was with Goldman. Banking, of course, I was that hip, and initially even I didn't know like what domain of banking. I just knew that credit cards and everything. But fintech, which is like the combination of finance and technology overall, that was something that was probably in Goldman when I saw that Goldman launched a loan product in US and UK markets, and I was a risk engineer, decisioning partner at that time in that team. So I thought that what exactly that's where I understood how exactly the tech integrated with finance is solving these problems today. Today if I say that you have to transfer money to someone, how many of you will prefer online banking of say SBI versus Paytm or Google Pay or Phone Pay? I think 95% of you will prefer the new technologies, GPay, PhonePe, or Paytm rather than NEFT or RTGS for 100 rupees of amount for, let's say, right? Why? Because they were able to integrate tech into their financial startup, into their financial product. So when I kind of looked at these products, that's what made me interested in fintech. That let me try, how these things happen, and that's why I wanted to go into a startup and a consulting because, in a big company, you're not able to get the full picture. What's exactly going on? What other teams are doing. But here, since there is a limited group in a startup, I thought that I'll be able to learn things from scratch. And in a startup today, what I learned, like how this technology actually gets into implementation. Today I know how this whole Google Pay, Phone Pay system works at the back end, which you'll only know once you're interested in these things. So just because of my curiosity in this fintech, that's when I found that I think this should be something that I should try. And it's going very well for me so far.
Any other questions, everyone? Okay, I guess that's it. Niharika, can you take over?
Yeah, I just have a small, not a question, but like most of the students are worried about it over here, and you already answered this very briefly in your session. So, in the present time, like as we are able to see, we are a sort of rat race. If I would say very clearly, we are in a sort of rat race. While getting into JE, it's a rat race. Now, once you cleared JE, you came to college. Now you are seeing all the first years are fighting with each other. They all are like going to coding, coding, coding. Some are going to this, that, this, that. Again, rat race. Second years, at the end of the second year, they all are again in rat race for. They all are again going on rat race for getting internships. Then third years they are on a rat race of getting placements. Then once they got a placements, then again they are on a rat race. Like, hey, my friend got a bigger one, why I didn't got smaller one? So I mean, probably like the rat race after fourth year. I mean, after fourth year also the rat race will continue. Like once you're getting the job again, you will be like, okay, I mean, my friend is getting better. My friend is doing less work, he's getting more paid. I'm doing more work, I'm getting less paid. Something like that. So, but how to break that rat race? Like I am able to observe most of my basically my juniors and all those that they are basically stuck in that rat race from a long time. I mean, especially like I am able to see like due to the because of the placement sales and because of all the things happening nearby, for example, internships and all those, people are highly tensed. They're like, hey, I didn't got an internship. What I should do? Even there are some students here in the first years also. I don't want to point them out, but one student he just came to me and he said, hey, I want to do internship. I said, yeah, but why you want to do internship? I mean, what exactly internship means? He's like, my friend is doing, that's why I want to do it. I don't want to point at the person over here, but he just answered like, my friend is doing, that's why I just want to do it. The same goes with third years. The same goes with second years. There are a couple of second years in my screen, and even I'm able to see them. Uh, some second years, yeah, they got some good internship. They worked harder in their first years, and somehow, I mean, because of their hard work, they got into. But what if you didn't got into? It's not a like life or death question. So, I mean, you can just brief them out like, okay, it's. I mean, they don't need to worry a lot. I don't know. I mean, whether they need to worry that much lot now, or they should just like as you said, getting experience is much more valuable than doing anything else over here. And the experience could be from your own project as well. So
Certainly, certainly.
yeah, it's. I mean, it's a very big question I could say, or very small. I cannot say that, but yeah, it's like a real life challenge. I'm even these are questions which I'm also answering on day-to-day basis.
No, this is actually a very valid question, like, and for like all of you on this in this group right now, right? This pressure and comparison will always be there. I won't say that, hey, you do something, you meditate or something, think about things, nothing's gonna happen. You know, this pressure as a fact will always be there. This comparison will always exist. Some of you might be toppers here, some of you might be very bad, just like kind of passing the exams or something, and some of you would be kind of doing well. you know One thing that is very important is, always, if you think that you are not doing really well, you don't need to become a master. Not all anyone all of you become topper, and you don't need to. There's a very good principle in life that I always follow, not only in studies or in my job, but every time. Read about it. It's called the Pareto rule or the 80-20 rule. Some of you might be aware here, some of you might not be, right? You know, always focus on 20% of the efforts that you get, and with that, you achieve 80% of the results. That's with everything. You try a new sport or everything. Once you put 20% of the efforts, you will get to 80% of the results. The remaining journey of the remaining 20% results requires 80% effort. That is okay if you want to become a master in that field. You keep on doing that. But you always focus on, have I done my 20% in different things? What will I achieve out of it? So this pressure, right? Like if someone is getting better in everything, someone probably, let's say, let me take an example of a random person, it could be someone in this group, it could be someone else who works hard a lot. Like they spend hours and hours studying and everything, and they get good marks also because they did the hard work and everything. But to achieve those topper results, maybe, you know, they did so much of effort that they did not have time for anything else. They were not into sports. They were not probably, in their tech fest or something, making something for that. They were not doing that. All they did was study, study, and study to become toppers. You know, I don't say that this is bad. If it's their passion, they want to study so hard, they want to become toppers, that's their aim, it's fine. But do you think the marks that you get like as a topper is so say today I go to apply for a job, will someone ask me, hey, what were your marks in third year signals and systems maybe? No one is going to ask me how much you achieved in data structures and everything. What they will look at is my knowledge, right? How much do I know about the subject? Am I able to relate to the real world problems? The real world problem application comes when you research about it, when you study about it, which is apart from the theoretical studies. Theoretical studies are very important, right? You need to get good grades because you cannot do anything about it. That's how it is. You have to get good grades. You just can't say that even if I don't get good grades, I'll just get good industry experience. I'll pass with flying colors. Even that's not gonna happen. You know, you have to that minimum. You have to have that minimum viable thing that okay, I studied hard enough to get this, but then even with that, if you're not able to kind of get into any internship or anything, do you want that into in the first place? Why do you want that? Just because someone else did it? You know, when I was in college, I was always into sports. I didn't miss even a single session of basketball or any other game that I like to play during the fests or anything. Even though my semester exams were there, but I studied hard enough for my exams. But still, I wanted to do that. And at this time, you will feel that everything is, not making sense in my life or something. You might feel that with yourself. But I don't know how much you follow these industry greats and everything. Like I liked Steve Jobs a lot, and in his one of his very famous Stanford University speeches, he said it's only at the end of the day or end of the tenure that you'll be able to connect the dots. So initially you might feel like that I'm roaming around places, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, someone else is doing better, I'm not able to get that. Your journey is very specific to you. It's totally different from others, right? It could be a lot of ups and downs. It could be only ups. It could be only downs. But it's still different when those ups and downs come. And ups and downs do come, right? No one is in a single linear line that someone will keep on rising and rising, and someone will keep on falling and falling. It's just that you'll achieve certain things at different points of life. So you will be able to connect the dots at the last. But with this pressure already that I'm not able to get into something just because my friend did and I wasn't, what will happen? Okay, worst case scenario. Today I say, let's take that pressure. You have that pressure. Is that going to change the things? No. Rather, even if that thing is going to remain the same, let me do something else at least. Even if someone is getting an internship and I don't know even if I want to do that internship or not, I like to build apps. Like someone in this group raised a question. I like to build games. How many games have you built without this pressure that I want to focus on this job or AI and everything? Start with that. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy because you are influenced a lot by peers around you, by society around you. Everyone will say that, hey, you have to get a job, you have to get this internship. Oh, I mean, Sharmaji's son, as you say, that did so well. Why were you not able to do that? That will always be there. It's still today, for me also, for my mentors who are probably 15 years, even, above in experience than me, even they have this problem. This is going to stay forever. It's just that, are you satisfied with what you're doing in your careers? And just don't go in the rat race that just because I didn't get that internship. Of course, college curriculum or someone might say that it is mandatory to get an internship and a certificate. But no one is saying you that it's okay. Find an internship in an area that interests you and is relevant to your courses. Because I did my EC engineering. I'm not using semiconductor knowledge or anything in my life today. I don't even remember now, right now. At that time I was so concerned. I applied for an internship in Airport Authority of India. I was the last one who was selected, and I was in so much pressure that what if I don't get to this? My third year will be wasted. I'll probably not get a job. I'll be like one of those people who are like who drop out of college and do nothing in life and anything. And that's pretty natural. These thoughts come. It's just because of the age we are in. These things are bound to happen. If you see, 400 more students around you who are achieving, that one person will obviously feel morale down that, hey, I'm not getting anything. But it's not like that. If you are confident that you did the hard work to get something you want, you don't need to worry. But you need to be confident, right? And you just need to say, and hard work has to be justifiable by you. No one is going to give you a definition. Someone requires just 1 hour of study to achieve 100 marks. Someone might require 10 hours of study to achieve 100 marks. It's totally dependent on what the person's capabilities are, what the skill set is. So that's how it is. So don't worry if you're not able to get into internships. That's fine. Do you even need that internship? Is it relevant? Is it something that you want to do? If it is, try to look for other ways, because there is always a solution. If you're not able to get it through maybe a college, have you tried around in your friends network? Have you tried around on LinkedIn? Have you tried around in any site that is available? Just find more and more places. And still, if you don't find an answer, talk to your mentors, talk to your teachers. They'll be able to guide you. That's way. And you will find something. But if you do it without pressure, maybe you find something that you actually like to do. If you do it with pressure, you'll still find it. But what's the use if you don't like it? You know, the 9 to 5 job, people say it's boring. Everyone is looking for the weekend. Who's into the job? That when will the weekend come? Why? That means that they're in jobs that they don't like to do. Because they're bored of them Monday to Fridays. Instead, if they actually like what they do, what they're doing, they would say, yes, I'm looking forward to the weekend, but not because I want to go away from my job or from my studies, but just to relax and reset my energy levels. That's it. So there's a difference in perspective thinking. That's what you want to do. If you're not finding something, it's okay. Try. What are the other ways you can find? Keep on trying. Always have this curiosity, and you'll find something.
Thank you for such an informative talk, sir. We are indeed privileged to have you in the session today. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Thank you for hosting me.
Right, so thank you. Would anyone like to give any closing remarks?
Yeah. So as usual, again, Vibhanshu is talking to one more Vibhanshu. So thank you so much for coming up for the session. I guess not guess. It was a very fruitful session for all the people out here. We have about 22 participants on this meeting. And I guess most of the doubts of all those 22 participants and other students are really solved by this session. And it's always, it's really very interesting to listen to your story. But that's what I will say, because it's really like ups and downs and all those. It's like almost everyone out of the students, they can relate to it because everyone is stuck in the same scenario. And probably it would be real. I would also say one thing after this session as well. I'm sure you will get a couple of DMs stating that, hey, I also want to come to fintech. Hey, I also want to jump into finance. Because till now there was only one thing which was going in everyone's mind, and yeah, it's going now also. Again, if you have a couple of moments, you can just give a brief overview over that. Is like, as I said, red race. So, in according with the red race, everyone out of almost everyone out of the people I'm able to see, they just see software development as a job. That's it. Just software developer. That too, like just one stack developer, front end, back end. Uh, but personally, because of my own experience, I could probably say that there are a lot more. There are a lot more. So I will again stop you for a couple of minutes, and if you can just show them the limelight, like, okay, not it's. What do you think? Like, front end back end is not the only job. Like as you said, you were doing semiconductors and all those. Now, like in a fintech, you don't have to even check what semiconductor company is building up. So, uh, Sashwar, I just want you to just give them a brief limelight or like a ball, a catch over there. Like, what they how exactly have to do, and that would be like I could say that probably the last question of the session today.
Sure. No, of course, I do get this, right? Like, of course, you are always interested in what you hear the most, right? Someone, because today, that's a fact that we hear a lot about data science, software development, and everything. And it's a natural inclination that would happen. I don't kind of say that you're wrong to think about this. It's totally natural. Even I was from EC. Why I went into, computer sciences and IT was because I was sure that probably I want to do a job first, and those were the only jobs which were available in abundance at that time. The companies that recruited were always asking for IT. Today, I have people who are working alongside me, and they are mechanical engineers and civil engineers. If you think about it, what is a civil engineer doing data analytics in a fintech? What is what are they? What is a mechanical doing strategy for a crypto platform portfolio, totally not related. That's true. It's just that the industry has become as such because software development and everything. These are the jobs that can be done at the comfort of your place. Even if I don't talk about working from home, still as a software engineer, you don't need to go out in the sun and work. You still need to sit around in an area in front of a laptop. That's your whole shop. You'll be able to do everything from there. It has become the norm, of course, and that's how the industry has kind of moved. Also, there are a lot more jobs in software development, and your inclination is perfectly understood. And I'd say that if your aim is that you don't know what to do, I'd say prepare on site, no matter your you know skill set or your field. On the sites, start preparing for the basics of SQL, just SQL and Excel. You'll be easily able to get a computer science or a software development job as an analyst. Even if you think that I want to get into a job and I don't know what to do, but this is a job that offers me money and will give me a guaranteed placement, start learning SQL and Excel. These two are the only things. You don't need to go into fancy stuff. I want to be a predictive modeler, I want to be an artificial intelligence engineer, nothing like that, right? But if you think that I took this domain for some reason and I'm sure that I want to do it, there are still jobs available, because most of the people are actually following a rat race. They'll still be thinking on your terms only that I don't know what to do. What you are thinking, thousands of other people are thinking the same at the same time in terms of their career perspectives. But what you need to do is do an extensive research if you want to not move towards software development, but rather in some other field within the computer sciences or your area of domain. There are firms available. Of course, you won't hear about them because that's not the buzzword. When I was with the, when I was doing electronics and communication, I knew that there is National Semiconductors, there is Cadence, there is Caterpillar Inc., and five more companies that I knew at the same time that would offer me an electronics and communication job, even if I'm not able to clear my standard chartered interview. Because I was interested in semiconductors, that was the reason that in the first place that I chose ECE. I had, and that was because I thought that let's see what to do. But again, interests change and everything changes. I thought that semiconductors, okay, but let me start with this. I did the hard work and got through. True that you'll find most of the jobs, like 80% of the jobs will still be software development that you hear about. There are other jobs also, and you think that they are less paying probably. But then if you're bringing this factor in here, that they pay less and maybe, even half of what my friend is earning, then you should actually go for software development, because what you're doing right now is actually not of your interest. You are in it for some other reasons. It requires a lot of self-understanding. You can ask your teachers, friend, and know different people. Even if you ask me, I'll give you an answer from my perspective. But who can give you the best answer is you yourself. You actually figuring out that this is what you want to do. If you think that, okay, I am doing this, but not that much interest in this software development, start learning SQL and Excel really good. You'll get a job easily. And then kind of figure out what you want to do. But that's not the end of the world, right? If you think that the other jobs exist, they do exist. It says that just because you don't hear it, you don't know about it. Today, if someone asks me, like, I'll tell you an incident. One of my cousins, he's a lot into sports, not as a player, but he likes to a lot to commentate about and learn about the sports analysis and everything. And he was asking me for a career direction. What do I do? And no one would have heard of a career as as a commentator. Maybe how many of you dreamt to be a commentator? Probably no one here, right? So no one is offering you jobs. He also had an option that, okay, I did my engineering only, but I want to do this. So he was faced with two options. Either he gets a job in Cognizant at a pay package of 25,000 per month in Chennai, or pursue another course in sports industry that gets him these skills. He did a lot of research, find a couple of courses, gave entrance exams, went through it. He's still not earning anything because it's just been 2 years for him. He's still studying, and just got into an internship. But at least he's doing something he likes. And now, because once he got into the industry, that's when the domains open. Because once you learn from the industry experts, you learn from the people within the same group. If someone around you, if you are an individual and 10 people around you are talking about software development, you'll not hear anything else. You'll think that this is the way to go. But once you get into a place where 10 people are talking about, for example, game development, that's when you'll see that yes, these are the different topics, or these are different areas where I can actually learn as well. So it's all about actually being confident with what you want to do and then pursuing that path. Otherwise, if it's just for the money, just for the job that I should have, I have a place to run, or I need to start earning as soon as possible. In India, software development is the way to go. Start learning SQL, Excel, you'll be fine. You don't need to learn any fancy stuff.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the talk. Um, and I am okay. I guess we can end the session now. Right. Okay. So, thank you everyone for attending, and a big thanks to Vibhanshu Jain sir for giving us this talk. Right. Thank you, sir.
Happy to be speaking to all of you. And if you have any further questions, also, please send them to your general secretary, and he can forward them to me, and I can answer as soon as I get time. But happy to help.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to hold you for a minute. Yeah. So one more interesting thing which I would just like to know, like there are many students out here. I'm sure about it. Yeah. So yeah, I would like to firstly invite Nitali ma'am. She's the one who motivated us a lot, and she's the one behind this complete session. So I would like her to share her views and a closing remark for this session. Thank you, ma'am.
Uh, Thank you,
Today,
Vibhanshu. Actually,
which Vibhanshu you are saying thank you. You should point that out today.
no, I'm first saying thank you to our Vibhanshu Jain. Acha, that is also Jain, exactly same. Actually, I got confused, Mr. Vibhanshu, and I happened to actually ask Vibhanshu also that how come your photograph is different? Maybe in some of the poster we were planning to host you sometime back. I think so. So actually, pleasure hearing you. My apology to you, though I don't know. I don't know. They should curse me or say thank you for being behind and pushing them for such kind of event, because I feel so though they are like a small like a startup, but that cannot maybe a hindrance for them to host and get motivated from the people like you, because every penny counts, and maybe they are the pioneer batches of triple IT, and maybe the efforts taken by them will make a strong foundation for the upcoming generation of triple ITR. And I do heard some of the portion what you have given the advice to triple RTN. I think some noise is coming from your side, Nirdesh. Is it so? So I really liked your idea. I do heard about this risk factor thing, but you have very beautifully told that point that we should think, because at the end the customer is a supreme in any business, especially when you talk about startup, even whether it is a restaurant or it is a research project. So if you are sure that you are able to take care of the customer or the thing, and anyhow as at least in IIT we strongly promote this message that we there should be many job creator rather than giver, taker, seeker. So obviously, even if you open a restaurant, you give a bread and butter for many other people. So it's really nice thought, and you have. I'm sure they have really recently started e-sale. I don't know how really formally started or not, Vibhanshu. No,
Yeah, starting.
starting is not a word. It should be a started. Started is something which come with a dot. Starting is like a dot 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 dot. I don't know when it will come. Before you pass out, you should start a ESA. Whether you take another 1 year, I don't pray and hope so you
Yes,
should take
for
1 year,
for sure.
but do that at least. Start it, because once you start, then once you start the vehicle, then automatically it will take its momentum acceleration. So as
Yes.
I was thanking, continuing Mr. Vivanshu, the thanks for being so kind enough to take the invitation on the last moment and be with this youngster, because many people usually think twice whether they should go to the newer institute or not. But they are the person actually who are really need of the lecture from the people like you, like the whatever account you have, I say it is almost 10 times what we had got in our National Technology Day seminar. Though it was given by some five of seven, nine of extreme good, talented professors of IT Hyderabad, and the count was similar to what people are attending here, and with almost 1/30th of population. So this is the engagement which is shows that how serious these people are, and uh, do keep on coming to us, because every day is a learning experience for each of us. I'm sure with maybe few more time person you will have some more thing to talk about, maybe some different scenarios, occasions, some different thing. So do keep coming to us, and I hope is it something with the event team is doing? Is it something which we started in PR Council? Is this event hosted by event team?
Yeah, it's hosted by the event
Yeah.
team.
So like with Mr. Vibhanshu, we thought that there should be an event team in a PR council. We call it as a PR council. So like because there's a standard thing. I'm also an engineer, electronic engineer by qualification. So engineers are lazy, and that's how I do. Lazy thing in my wherever I do, I just start putting a process. That if you have a process and by default you need not to do anything, things will happen on your own. So I'm glad that these people have taken a pain to not taking any series on Netflix and Amazon or a Hotstar, and came to you to listen, because if we have already have one Vibhanshu Jain, but if you have many more Vibhanshu Jain like you in triple IT, maybe triple IT will make a mark that probably IITH will say that, oh, it is institute mentored by us, like how IITH is known as pioneer among second generation and making mark among first generation. My pray and wish is that with the guidance from people like you, they will also make mark among triple IT. They started making it and continue to do so. So all the wishes, lots of love, and lot of good thing wishes to you. Do continue doing a good work. Don't get discouraged that okay, someone has come, someone, don't see others, be your own benchmark. That's what I mean to say today. Yeah, I think so. This is enough for today. I think so, Vanshu. I can give lecture to you people even till
Yeah,
then.
I mean,
Yeah.
which Vibhanshu you're talking again?
No, I'm saying to the GS Vibhanshu, I can say. I mean, because I don't know, a host is who? I was hearing a female voice. Who is the host for today?
I'm
Yeah.
Utkarshita
Who
and
is?
Niharika.
Okay, okay, okay. Hi, Utusha and Niharika. Great job done. I just
Thank
heard
you,
one
ma'am.
of the female voice, so I was very glad that okay. I thought I was seeing Nirdesh on the screen whenever I was trying to log in, because I was on call because of the ITH event. So I thought Nirdesh is a host, but thanks to your voice, I could make out okay, there is a someone else to host. So keep doing this, and such events will make you a better person. And do keep doing this good job. Okay, don't wait for me for next time to give you a trigger that please do something on NTD, National Technology Day. You should do something that people celebrate National Technology Day because of you. Maybe do something like that. Yeah. Yeah, there are people like Mr. Vibhanshu Jain to guide you in your path. So do something that people remember that technology should be known because of you people. You people are the brand ambassador of technology for future. Miss, so do Mr. Vibhanshu. Maybe I'm out of generation and out of league to talk about technology, but you people can do really a wonder. And how India is known for unicorns, maybe India should be known for world class technocrats. That's what I have a submission on this day. So all the best to all of you. Lots of love. Keep doing good job. Don't expect me to give a reminder on any special day. Keep posting a talk on every day possible. Every special day possible, if not every day. Yeah. Okay. All the best to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
At
ma'am.
the
Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to thank Nitali ma'am for joining up. Especially a great thank of regard for Vibhanshu Jain. I could say again, thank you from one Vibhanshu Jain to another Vibhanshu Jain for joining up for today and spending about your 1 hour and 23 minutes. And I could say probably more than much more than that. Thank you so much. Again, firstly, thank you for Nirdesh for coordinating. Thank you for Leela, our previous secretary. Thank you to Utkarshika, our host. Thank you to Niharika, our host. And thank you, Abhay, for coordinating all the YouTube live stream. We are streaming this event completely live on the YouTube, and we'll share the YouTube live stream and share the YouTube video as soon as possible. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for the complete team. At the last, I would say Jai Jinesh. And yeah, a very good evening.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
We are really grateful to all of you for taking time off your busy schedule and joining us this
Is
event.
Mr. Vibhanshu given you any point of improvement at the end? No.
Um, which Vibhanshu?
Mr. Vibhanshu, I said no. My things are very clear. I will not tell you Mr. Vibhanshu. You will remember Vibhanshu for me even you become CEO of a company. Anything you would like to tell them as an improvement point which you might have felt with this audience, Mr. Vibhanshu?
No, I think this is a wonderful bunch of students. I got some good questions over the event from them, and they do look interested. Like it's just that, of course, a lot that they hear is outside of the pressure of their friends and what they're doing. But my advice to them is just like feel free to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you are trying new things which you think that you want to do in your career, and you'll get where you want to. It's not rocket science. A lot of people do become successful. It's just that it's only the curiosity thing. Just be curious about different things that are ongoing around you, given today's economy, today's world, and I think it's a win-win for you. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Mitali ma'am, and everyone for hosting me. It was lovely to speak to every one of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, right. Then thank you everyone for attending the event. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Matali ma'am.